America, the land of the free, home of the brave, and birthplace of political arguments that could make a Thanksgiving dinner look civil. We're a nation built on the idea of unity, but lately it feels like we're more divided than ever. From our politics to our social fabric, deep cracks are starting to show. Think of it like this. Remember that time you argued with your family about pineapple on pizza? Now imagine that argument playing out on a national scale. But instead of pineapple, it's about healthcare, climate change. The point is, we're facing serious internal challenges that go way beyond toppings and fashion choices. We're talking about political polarization that's tearing us apart, racial tensions that keep resurfacing, economic inequalities that are widening the gap between the haves and the have-nots, and threats to our democracy that we can't afford to ignore. So buckle up, America, because we've got some work to do. Let's talk about politics, shall we? It's the elephant and donkey in the room. Our two-party system has become more like a two-headed monster, each head more interested in biting the other than actually governing. It's gotten to the point where just mentioning the other side's name can trigger a Pavlovian response. This polarization isn't just annoying, it's downright dangerous. It creates gridlock in government, making it nearly impossible to address the very real problems facing our country. We need to find a way to bridge the divide and start talking to each other again. America, the land of opportunity, where everyone is created equal. Unless you're a person of color or a woman trying to navigate the minefield that is reproductive health care. The fight for equality is far from over, and we're still grappling with the legacy of systemic racism and discrimination that continues to plague our society. We've seen the protests, we've heard the stories, and we know the statistics. Black Americans are disproportionately incarcerated, face higher rates of poverty, and are more likely to be killed by police than their white counterparts. Women are still fighting for equal pay and control over their own bodies. We can't claim to be a truly great nation until everyone has an equal shot at success, regardless of the color of their skin. It's time to dismantle the systems of oppression that have held back marginalized communities for far too long. The wealth gap. Remember that game Monopoly? Fun, right? Now imagine playing it where one person starts with all the money and property, and everyone else is stuck with boardwalk and a prayer. That's kind of what our economy feels like right now. The gap between the rich and the poor is wider than ever, with the top 1% owning more wealth than the bottom 90% combined. That's not just morally wrong, it's economically unsustainable. When so much wealth is concentrated in the hands of so few, it stifles economic growth and creates a system rigged against the working class. We need policies that promote economic fairness and opportunity for all, not just those at the top. This means raising the minimum wage, investing in education and job training, and creating a tax system that asks the wealthiest Americans to pay their fair share.
Democracy under threat. Democracy, like a delicate flower, requires constant care and attention. Unfortunately, we've been treating ours like a plastic plant from Walmart. Convenient, but ultimately lifeless. From voter suppression efforts to the spread of misinformation and disinformation, our democracy is facing threats from within. We've seen attempts to make it harder for people to vote, especially in communities of color. We've witnessed the rise of fake news and propaganda, designed to sow division and undermine trust in our institutions. And we've watched as some elected officials have put their own interests above those of the people they're supposed to represent. Protecting our democracy requires constant vigilance. We need to fight back against voter suppression efforts, promote media literacy to combat misinformation, and hold our elected officials accountable for their actions. Democracy is not a spectator sport. It requires active participation from all of us.
America's place in the world. America likes to think of itself as the leader of the free world. But when your own house is on fire, it's hard to convince anyone else you're qualified to be a firefighter. Our internal struggles have real-world consequences, impacting our relationships with allies and adversaries alike. When we fail to live up to our own ideals of democracy and equality, it weakens our moral authority on the global stage. It makes it harder to advocate for human rights abroad when we're struggling with them at home, and it emboldens our adversaries who point to our flaws as proof that our system is failing. We need to get our own house in order if we want to lead by example. That means addressing the challenges we've discussed, healing the partisan divide, fighting for equality, tackling economic inequality, and safeguarding our democracy. The world is watching, America. Let's show them what we're really made of. If you found this video insightful, please like and subscribe to our channel, Express Econ Geo Finance Insights, and don't forget to leave a comment below. We value your thoughts and discussions.